Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Consulting Trap. I'm your host, Brian Maddox, and I'm here today with Keon Georges from Vision Q Media. Welcome, Keon.
Hi. How are you doing today, Brian?
I am awesome. Happy to have you on the show. And like we're want to do on the show, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, that'll help our listeners get a grip for who you are.
Okay, well, thanks. And thanks for having me. Like Brian stated, my name is Keon Georges, and I'm the founder of Vision Q Media. A little of my history. I'm an Army veteran of 6 years, living all across the world. After that, I began to work for the government as a civil servant. But from there, I transitioned into my entrepreneurship journey, doing a variety of freelancing jobs, just trying to figure out how or what path I wanted to, take this journey, as I knew there had to be a better way of obtaining the goals that I wanted, and I knew the current path really wasn't what I was wanting to do. So through that, I was introduced to a variety of different things and fell into digital marketing. With that, I freelanced for a couple of people, and I felt like I wasn't getting enough as far as, the workload from the skills that I had presented. So I ventured out through networking here in the local area here in Atlanta, Georgia, and started putting everything together. Launched my business back in 2017. And through that, it was an up and down journey. But I also learned a lot of things, throughout that, moving into COVID, post-COVID, I went through a rebranding as far as the direction that I wanted to go and where I wanted to focus more on the services and things of that nature. And again, continue to network with people. I had about 9 services at that time to down to about 5 where I really wanted to focus. And with that, and through the various partnerships that I created, I realized I couldn't do this alone. So with, talking to, various individuals, I was able to be where I am today.
So you point out an interesting an area that might be of interest to our listeners, and that is making the transition out of that civil servant / government kind of background and into your own practice. So what were the major kind of adjustments you had to make when you stopped dealing with military kind of folk and starting your own practice? What were the big kind of discoveries that you made there?
Well, transitioning from the military into the civilian sector, it was a shock for me. I grew up a military brat. So for the most part, from childhood until adulthood, that's pretty much all that I knew. But stepping out after getting out of the Army, it was definitely a culture shock. But continuing on as a civil servant, it kind of, I was still able to keep that camaraderie. I guess a steady flow of things because I transitioned as a soldier and continued to work with the military, but as a civilian. So I was still in that environment, but I would say it was a little more relaxed in the sense of, the military, it's very structured and things of that nature. And that part of that transition I really wasn't used to. But I quickly adjusted just because it was a lot more relaxed in comparison to, to the military. Not that the military was demanding and things of that nature, but through that, I just knew that there had to be more to what I was doing. It was just getting up, going to work, working my 8 hours, going home, and taking care of family responsibilities and things of that nature. And it just became very redundant. But I found myself where, being in the military, I was always seeking that next level of progression and doing things that I needed to do. And now I'm at a point where everything is just routine, and I really didn't have anything to look forward to. So with the thanks of the internet, I started looking for other ways to make money and just started just trying different things out. That's one of the things that I'm very open to trying different ideas and understanding that, there's more than one way of doing things. So, with that, the curiosity, the potential that can come with it through consistency, and most importantly, finding a mentor that can, help you along the way. I felt were what I needed at that time. Granted, that's what I had through my childhood and while in the military. So instead of trying to tap dance and do things on my own and jump from here and jump all over the place, I just stuck to what I knew, and things just started falling in place.
So how did you get your first couple clients? I mean, it sounds like you mentioned the culture shock and that you were softened the blow by going into that sort of the civilian side of the military sport. But then you decided to go independent. When you got to that point where you needed to get folks, to sign over money to you so you could deliver your service, how did you get those first couple going?
Well, excuse me, when I relocated to the Atlanta, Georgia area, I really didn't know anyone. So I started attending a variety of different networking events, and through that, I was able to present my skills to the people that I was, speaking to, meeting to at that time. So it was more so on a as needed basis, where as they were getting work, it was more of a, hey, we're going to try this out and see how this works. And if this goes good, then we'll continue it. But I just felt like the work really wasn't consistent. It wasn't something that I could, do full time. So, with that and through my ultimate end goal of what I was wanting to accomplish, I was like, well, if they're doing this, I can do this too. So let me get back on the internet and see what I can do, in a sense to, replicate what they're doing. And in addition to doing some of the work, outsource the work the same way that they did with me. And then through that and through a variety of different networking events, I started to get introduced to, because I started with content marketing, just writing blogs and things of that nature. But the variety of different networking events, I started to be introduced to a whole different area of, the digital marketing space, which kind of, as a result, I ended up, trying the waters to see what I can do with it and see if that was something that I could implement, in my business.
Gotcha. And so as you are, I guess you're in year 5 on your journey. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
You already beat the game to a point. When you're in that process, when you've been going through this, you find yourself very likely, if you're like me, redefining who your good clients are, figuring out and adapting to the market, but also internally going, not every customer is created equal. So how have you moved through that journey for you? Are your customers, the customers that you had when you started and the customers you have now, are they the same?
They are not. When I first started, I was, in a sense, all over the place as far as focusing on a particular, industry. I looked at it in a sense of, well, I can do this, I can do that, a bunch of ideas running through my head, but I was quickly overwhelmed with that. So with that, I kind of took a step back, invested into some mentorship, and realized, I need to take a step back, listen to what they're saying, and just start implementing that. So then I focused on one particular niche, that being the law niche, working with lawyers and things of that nature. So post-COVID and throughout COVID, that was the niche that I was working with. To be honest, although it's very lucrative, lawyers can be very demanding and can be difficult to deal with.
You don't say.
So it was, I guess it was a love-hate type relationship, but moving forward, I just had to come to the realization, is this what I want to deal with, long-term? And in a sense, as I continue to grow and, move into other spaces. So that space was short-lived. I'd say about 18 months, 2 years. Granted, most of it was spent during COVID, but as I transitioned out of the law space, I started focusing more on local clients, which is what I'm currently doing now, helping local clients. And or if, with me being in Georgia, if someone in another state reached out to me or found me online and wanted to benefit from the services, I could help them. But also with doing that, through the services that I currently offer, I'm not really closed into one particular niche because most of our services are in the advertising space, TV, radio, digital billboards. So that's for the most part universal to many businesses.
Gotcha. So when you're moving forward here with this progression, you went from everybody to attorneys to now local business owners, if I'm getting that right. Mm-hmm. What do you see on the horizon for the business for you in terms of that? Can you see past that? Can you see where you're looking to expand beyond that market space or to a different one?
Yes. With that, I've been able to, because most of my clients were obtained through a variety of, different networking events that I've attended, and just through relationships in different spaces and word of mouth. So for the most part, I've been able to maintain with that, although I know I can't continue to rely on that. So with that, my assistant and I, we've branched out into, lead generation, email marketing, and things like that to obtain, other clients. Not that we need a bunch of clients, although that would be great. But ideally just something where we can continue to maintain. So, on the local space or the local market, I feel like we've done fairly well. So now it's time to branch out into other spaces. And the only way that we can do that, while keeping our budget and our budget spending low, is through email marketing.
Gotcha. And that is, you're both talking about that as a service you offer and as a means for you to expand your client base, right? Are you doing both of those things, or is it just for your internal use?
Just for internal use.
Oh, okay. So you're not offering email marketing as a service necessarily, even though you're identified that that's how you're going to grow your own business.
Correct.
Okay. And so what's the difference there? Like there's a bit of a disconnect for me. If you've identified that this is how you're going to grow your business, and you're in the digital marketing space, is that not something you would offer to your clients, or are you still kind of dog fooding it, or what?
Well, I guess originally when I first started, email marketing was one of the services that I did offer. And then as a result, I decided to eliminate that one. But moving forward, although, yes, I am doing that in my business, although I am offering that in my business, one of the things that I did learn is the messaging is different, from one industry to another. So rather than, as I mentioned earlier, someone that's wanting to advertise on TV, for the most part, any type of business can advertise on TV, radio, digital billboards. So with email marketing, it's a little more, it requires a lot more work. The messaging needs to be right. A lot of trial and error with that. And that really isn't something that I'm wanting to, that's not really something I'm wanting to, I guess, put forth the energy into, because it was very demanding, when I first started. So, moving forward, in a sense, I'm wanting to make things as easy as possible. So with the advertising services, that seems to be working.
Gotcha.
And I'm able to polish it as I go along. And let's say for any given industry, if we're doing advertising and then we obtain another client, later on down the road, well, we've already done the work for that set industry. So we know, in a sense, granted, each business is different, but we know what works and what didn't work with the prior one. So we can, in a sense, replicate that.
Gotcha. It's always interesting. When I hear folks that are doing like, I figured out this is how we're going to do it. I'm in the marketing space, but I only do TikTok ads for my clients. and I don't do them for myself.
Right.
And you go, well, that seems weird. Why would you do that? And then
Right.
this was one of the first examples where I heard the opposite, which is like, yeah, I'll do an email for me. My clients don't, I ain't gonna, not going that way. So that was interesting. I wanted to poke a little bit more there. I get it. And having done email marketing myself, it is, there's a ton of trial and error. There's a ton of, working on messaging and getting that right. You're a lot more on the hook for the creative as well. So, whereas when it comes to just, positioning and advertising, purchasing and stuff like that, let's not say it's not nuanced, but it's definitely different. So, so as you move forward here, you're going to be doing more email marketing. You're going to be broadening out to a different market, a larger market segment, or a larger geographic distribution. Let's put it that way. When it comes to industries and stuff that profit well, you said once or twice already that anybody can profit from a digital billboard or this kind of advertising. But are there any folks that it works really, really well for, that better than others, let's say?
You're probably going to laugh. The law space. That's what I've found out. Obviously with, that particular industry, the access to funds tend to be a little more than certain industries. So, they're able to put their face, their name, out there like that. But I have found that the law space has worked. Pest control and a lot of the home services. Like I said, pest control, HVAC. I found those three have been the ones to really work the most.
So that's a natural transition to the next question, which is who should be reaching out to you and how should they get a hold of you?
As far as reaching out, they can go to my website, www.visioncuemedia. That's VISIONCUEMEDIA.com, or they can email me directly, K Georges. That's KGEORGES at Vision Q Media. And they can tell me their story or what it is that in particular that they're wanting to accomplish. And I actually do turn people away for a variety of different reasons. One, either we can't help them. Sometimes there's just they're so far in, we're not wanting to put that much time in. We'll give you pointers and things like that for you to do. And then, hey, if you could, take care of that and come back, we'll be glad to help you. But there is a pre-qualification process that we go through. And there was another question you asked. I can't recall it.
Who should reach out?
Small businesses. I know that's pretty broad, but anyone or any business that is looking to advertise, whether it be online, the movie theater space, digital billboards, radio, TV. One of the things that we offer is we've opened the door for small businesses to be able to take advantage of the various advertising and marketing platforms that you sometimes see bigger brands advertising on, or there's a misconception that you need this extreme budget to be able to advertise on these various spaces. So, with that, we're able to assist a small business owner with advertising on these same spaces without having to spend an enormous amount of money. I mean, it does cost, but it's not nowhere to the level of some of the bigger brands that you may see, throughout the country, throughout the world. So in a sense, we're trying to level the playing field to give small business owners that same exposure. Awesome.
And in your entrepreneurial journey, what are the three biggest things you picked up along the way?
The three things I picked up, you definitely need to create you a plan and stay consistent. understand that nothing's going to happen overnight, and be willing to be open for constructive criticism, understanding that, yes, although you're the person in charge and you have a vision and no one else can understand that, just kind of be open, to other entrepreneurs. And what I mean by that is, sometimes sharing your vision or sharing your ideas with someone, at least from my personal experience, how can someone that's never been in business give me great business advice or not follow the advice that you're giving me? I'd say that's number one. Number two is understand that not everyone has your best. Not everyone is on your team. You have some people that they know you in a variety of different ways, and they know what you're capable of, but they see that you're putting yourself in a position to elevate, to do better things, to change your situation. And sometimes that comes with jealousy, hate, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes you have to be careful with who you share your vision and your business to. And then I guess the third would be get out and network. Find a way that, because understanding what works in one industry may not necessarily work in your industry, but if you're going to be the face of your business, you need to get out there, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. When people are looking for whatever service that you provide, because you've done the footwork with networking, whether it be online, however you're going about doing it, but you want to be the one that, hey, I know this person that can, or this man or woman that has helped me along the way, or you're an up and coming entrepreneur, but you just want to be that one that they think of when they're looking for that service or product that you offer. So step outside your comfort zone.
Awesome. Thank you, Keon, for being on the show today. I appreciate you being here and sharing with us some of your insights.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Consulting Trap. If you have suggestions for future episodes or would like to be a guest on our show, please send me an email at brian@podcastchef.com. That's BRIAN at PODCASTCHEF.com. Before we go, we'd like to thank the sponsor of our show, Podcast Chef. Podcast Chef helps turn ordinary podcasting into a revenue-generating lead magnet for your consulting business. Our Podcasting Done For You service takes away the headache of starting up and running your own podcast. Reach out now to take advantage of our 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit us at podcastchef.com to find out how our team of experts can help you leverage podcasting to take your business to the next level.